Thursday morning, and as we were just saying, that weather we just experienced is going to come back in a couple of days. False fall was over, and that means real fall's almost here, and the gala is getting ready to be here on September the 25th, correct, Judy?
It is, yes.
Well, fill me in on African Vision of Hope. How did you found this idea?
Well, it was 25 years ago. Actually, it was about 26 years ago. We had a group of boys sing at our church. Um, and we raised our hand that we would host them for the weekend. They were from Zambia. They were singing in the country to raise money for education, which is something every child wants in that country, but just can't access it.
When every child deserves.
Every child deserves it. Every child needs it. They need to get in that classroom. And that weekend, all I can say is we had 5 children. And actually, at that point, I had 2 small ones. My life changed. And I just saw and heard something that we had to do something about. And those boys ended up being part of human trafficking here in the United States. And we ended up raising one of them. Our neighbors took some. That's how it all started. And we started helping one of the boys' mothers with AIDS medication back in 1998, 1999. You could not access those drugs to stay alive. You had to pay for them. So we were helping do that. In 2000, we sponsored a man in seminary that helped us get those AIDS drugs in Zambia, had never met him. And he said, I want to start a school for vulnerable children. And how do you say no? 23 kids, we had a tavern with a dirt floor, we can do this.
Right.
So when you think you have your life planned out, just know that when you say yes, it could all change.
Well, and if it's okay to dive a little bit back into the first part of what you were stating, just your connection, I wanted to touch on that, the connection side of things. And, it's one of those things where you and I, or maybe myself in the audience, can read or watch an interview or talk to a friend or somebody. But until you actually make that personal interaction with this situation like you did, and you're hearing about these stories of human trafficking and really just doing all you can to save and rescue and really just provide that opportunity. Were you surprised? Was it a gut wrench when you're hearing the things that you heard, or you realized the amount of help that was needed?
I was. I mean, I live in Disneyland.
Yeah. And we all do.
I live in Disneyland.
Yeah.
I have water coming out of my faucet. I can run to Walgreens. I can go to the doctor. I could not imagine the huge amount of orphans in that country and no resources, and the fact that they would do anything to get in a classroom. That was their dream and their goal, because they knew without that, the cycle of extreme poverty would just continue. I was blind. You can read about it.
Right.
But you have to decide to enter into that world. You have to make a conscious decision, not just to read it and gloss over it. We have so much coming at us with news. But I think there's a time that we have to stand up and make a choice.
Well, and we're going to talk about those 25 years of progression here, and then also the big night that culminates that and celebrates it. But, Judy, let me ask you, when you're diving into this, did you have any background into this field at all, or did you have any?
No.
So this is brand new at the time.
I didn't even know where Zambia was on a map.
Wow.
I mean, I think like a lot of us, we just think of Africa as a country instead of a continent with all these countries in it. No, I had my life planned out, and it just changed that night. So we had no experience with any of that. We owned our own business, and that's what I knew.
Well, if you could you take me through some of the learning curves initially before we talk about maybe some of the bigger accolades and some of those bigger milestones you've achieved?
I think for anytime you step into the unknown, or anytime we say yes to something, there is going to be a lot of challenges, but that's what really helps us grow and become better leaders and help us step into another culture. I think the one thing I've learned And we've made a lot of mistakes, because I think we tend to go in and say, you need to do this and you need to do that, and that'll fix things. That doesn't work.
Hmm.
I think the best thing I've learned is to have a listening ear
Yeah.
and realize that our families we work with in Zambia, they have solutions to their country's biggest challenges, and we can help them walk that journey by listening and not offering my American solution because it doesn't work. That's what one of the biggest challenges I've learned is just it takes decades to learn another culture.
1,000%. And
Mhm.
I was also reading that you did start this with your husband, Bob.
I did.
And I got to ask you, did doing this, especially this type of work, does that enrich your guys' bond with each other? Because to me, this is a humanitarian mission of all levels, and you have to have the same passion for this in order for it to
You do.
succeed.
We'd always worked together, so we've been together, we're together all the time, and stepping into this together is not a challenge. And I think in any marriage, you each have your strengths
Hmm.
and finding out how you can work that together and picking those up. But yes, he's as passionate as I am or more. And it's just been a lot of joy. There's been a lot of sorrow, a lot of
Yeah.
heartache, a lot of trials, but at the end of the day, it's joy.
Absolutely. And Judy, let me ask you, in the 25 years, take me through some of those milestones that you all have accomplished along the way.
Wow, there's been so many from starting the first school from 23 children to thinking we were done
Wow.
to walking through the first 10 years where we were working on education, building classrooms. We're an NGO in that country, so we're not in profit there, African Vision of Hope, and making sure the property is registered under that name. I think the biggest challenge was questioning yourself every day. Are we doing the right thing? Are
Yeah.
we making a difference? And it's that stick to it perseverance when you start seeing the fruit that you go, okay, yes, this is it. Foundationally, education changes lives. But when you start seeing them graduate high school,
Yeah.
go into college, and they're going back and serving their country, that's when you know, and it takes time.
1,000% it does. And on top of the education, you now have 9 school campuses, correct?
Yes,
And now
correct,
are they just in Zambia alone?
correct.
That's
Mhm.
incredible. And more than 5,900 students are receiving this Christ-centered education, which I think
Yes.
is just incredible. But one thing that's special to me, and I want to hit on this, is these 4 rescue home communities. Fill me in on this because I mean, to me, this is one of the more of the kind of the skin tingling things that you all do and is provide these communities. Can you fill me in a little bit more on what this is all about?
It's a deep subject because we work in a country where probably 50% of the population's 15 and under,
Yeah.
around that. So it's a country of children. And a lot of the adults' lives are gone from disease, AIDS, just life expectancy there is not good. And I think for us, seeing the heartache of a child living in the street, living in the trash dump, being sold into marriage, um, being abused by whoever will take them in just so they can get a meal, let us know we have to do something about that. And so we started with our first rescue home, which is called the Girls House of Hope.
Hmm.
And it's a beautiful home with about 80 girls living there and house mom. And then we moved on to Hope Village, which we have 4 homes there, 2 more under construction, and we have about 120 children living there. So we don't have the capacity to take them all in, but the most vulnerable.
Yeah.
And just giving you one situation, we had a 12-year-old girl that was abused, pregnant. We had to step in and help her get, a C-section because mortality during childbirth is extremely high there. Um, she's in rescue care, and the little boy, he's about 5 now, and he has a whole family living in Hope Village with the patrons and matrons there. She's able to go on to school, finish school, live the
Wonderful.
life of a child
That's
that she
wonderful.
deserves. Mhm.
And on top of that too, I also know that in this year in June, around 24,000 folks were fed every day. Is that an accurate statistic? Did I read that line right?
Yes, it's children. It's a children's feeding initiative, and we work with partners on a nutritious lunch every day. Usually, it is the only meal these children are getting.
Yeah.
So it helps keep a lunch keeps them in school, uh, changes their life health wise. I've seen their lives transform just by having this lunch that's packed with vitamins and protein, and helps relieve the burden of the family that's going to send that child out to work to get food versus being in the classroom. Helps them get better grades, pay attention in class. It changes everything.
Well, I think such an eye opener, especially for maybe the folks in my generation, is just we so much expect things. We expect the medical care. We expect to have the opportunity to pursue a faith based life. We have the opportunity to do all these incredible things, and then just hearing about the still the AIDS epidemic in some of these countries, and some of the diseases and the human trafficking. It's just a big eye opener, and I think it's a hopefully a takeaway for our audience today to know, whatever we're going through, we can get through it with a team around us, just like you guys are doing in Zambia. And I got to ask you, was there a point that you had reached where you knew that this mission's getting accomplished, that you guys felt very confident that, hey, everything we set out for, we're hitting this? Is there a moment for you all where that happened?
Yes, definitely. And I think it's when the first, 2012, when our first group of children graduated high school. And, we're about four things: a Christ centered education, rescuing children, allowing them to grow up healthy and safe, and then also just giving them some critical life skills. And what I love about working with these children and adults is they don't have any expectations.
Yeah.
Everything they get is a gift. And every gift they get, they multiply it. So every child that's in college, we sponsor 103 in college. I've never heard one of them say, I'm going to college because I want to attain this. It's always like, I want to help my country. I want to help my brothers and sisters. I want to help other people. It's all about giving back. It's that ripple effect. And I think the joy is that I don't always get here in my home country.
Right. Well, and it's just incredible, and what a takeaway as well. And before we talk about the 25th anniversary gala, I'd also be remiss not to talk about these scholarship opportunities. Just to touch on that and piggyback real quick, for 118 students so far.
Yes, we have this year we're in higher education. Yes, we have 118.
That's incredible. Is there a goal that you all have to up those numbers, or do you guys have any set goals with what you're doing?
We right now we don't have those the giving has to be there.
Yeah.
It's about $2,400 a year to send a child to college there.
Yeah.
And we hate to turn them down after they've worked so hard. We are their family. They don't have anywhere else to turn. Um, so I think it's going to depend on the giving that
Mhm.
helps us fund the students that are already there before we take on more.
Well, that's leads us in. Oh, and then wanted to touch on real quick that you also employ 189 individuals in these countries, correct?
I think we have over
Oh,
200,
wow.
about 240 with teachers. Yes. So we don't have Americans living there. They're all Zambian staff. We just go back and forth.
That's incredible, and takes us into that anniversary gala, because this is how we can support, and this is how we continuously help your mission. You not only have just a great thing to celebrate on the 25th, you also have two incredible people. Dennis and his wife Quaid are going to be there, and the
Yes.
impact they've made in various nonprofits, but especially in work like this, is just incredible. And what's your thought to have them a part of this celebration? And take me through that connection there.
Well, they've been givers and involved in the ministry. They've been on the ground with us in Zambia. Um, and I think, when you do ministry work, you just see people as people.
Yeah.
We all have stories. And I think what I love about Dennis and Laura is they're using their stories to change lives, to impact lives, using it for purpose. And that, and they're coming, as paying their own way, speaking for free,
Wow.
and they offered to do that. So it's a blessing. I look at this as an incredible blessing. Um, and just to know his testimony and her testimony of living life on purpose.
Yeah.
And I think it's something we can all lean into. You know, we all have jobs, we're all doing things in life, but we all sometimes have that hole, like, stepping out, getting out of that boat,
Yeah.
stepping out of that fear when you see something in front of you and just saying, yes, I'm going to do that. I can do that. So yeah, it's going to be a great evening. We're really looking forward to it. He's going to be not only speaking, but sharing some of his fun and faith music.
Mm-hmm. That'll
So
be cool.
yeah.
Well, and also, there's going to be a silent auction, a great dinner, and of course, a great program. I'm nosy, Judy. What's a part of the silent auction?
Oh wow, it's all on mobile bidding.
Okay.
We have amazing stuff. Actually, Dennis is bringing from his own collection a Rams helmet from his movie American Underdog, all
Oh,
signed by
wow.
the cast and Kurt Warner and himself, that he'll be auctioning off. And we have trips and jewelry. It'll all be online in about a week and a half. So it's mobile bidding, and we have a great lineup from Fox tickets to what is it? Hockey games, all those kind of things.
Anything you need to have fun and add to the stocking this year.
Yes,
There-
yes.
Well, Judy, before I let you go, I wanted to circle back. Is there a goal? Is there a fundraising goal at this gala? Is there any type of goal that we can help you reach on this side of the Mississippi today?
Yes, our goal is opening the door for classrooms.
Yeah.
So these children can step into their future. And our goal is about 200,000 to build more classrooms. And also keeping children in classrooms is a monthly giving. So our goal is to having 40 new Hope partners monthly. And that puts a uniform on a child, puts shoes on a child, pays the teachers, buys that whiteboard. Yes, we've moved up from chalkboards to whiteboards, and puts a desk under that child. So it is just opening the door so these children can step into their future.
Absolutely. And with the monthly side of things, is there tier options that we can choose from, or is it set?
Yeah. If you go to our website, you can pick any amount you want monthly on our Give. African Vision of Hope, you can buy gala tickets. Reserve your seat. We have about a week left of those. And then also just the giving options. Yes, they're
Absolutely.
all there.
Well, we'll make sure we link everything in a write-up on RiverBender.com. And really, Judy, before I let you go, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Yes, thank you.
I got to know one final question, though. The first time you guys go to Zambia, after this process gets started, take me through just that. Was there anything that you got to see hands-on that kind of put it into perspective for you, or did it happen
Yes.
before?
I mean, I remember getting on that plane because we had 5 children. 2 of them were very small.
Oh,
My
wow.
parents aren't living, and I was thinking I'm never going to come back. Right. So I do remember that. But I think I walked into a building, and I'm talking a 10 by 10 block building with no windows, and about 18 of our boys were sleeping in there on the floor.
Wow.
And I remember thinking to myself, this is not acceptable.
Yeah.
Not on my watch. And so, yeah, it was eye-opening, and it pushed me forward more. Yes.
Well,
So there were moments.
And then before I let you go, Judy, just circling back to the first part of this conversation, with that initial group of children that you encountered, is there still connection today? Are you
yes.
really
There'll
great?
be one there the night of the gala. He's actually a police officer in our area now. So now
Wonderful.
he's rescuing people here. So yeah,
This
they're
is
all
so
in
cool.
the area, most of them. Mhm.
Well, Judy, thank you so much for your time once again, and we hope that you have such a successful gala. You hit that goal, and African Vision for Hope continues to do great things.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
No
It's
problem.
wonderful.
We'll take a quick break. More Daily Show comes right around the corner on this Thursday, right after this on Roku and RiverBender.